The New York Post is arguing that it should be illegal to not pay TSA workers.
Yeah.
They basically say, and this is an opinion piece in the New York Post, that flyers are already paying for TSA. You're paying $11.20 per round trip. It's called the passenger security fee, because I know all of you look at your airline tickets and I'm sure you go through it. I know you don't. And they're like, look, they say Congress has diverted this money, this piece does, and that maybe we should just privatize TSA. I don't know. Maybe that's the answer.
I mean, obviously, before all of this, a lot of us, myself included, wanted to privatize TSA. There is a private contracted version that, like, for instance, San Francisco uses that is 65% more efficient than traditional TSA. There are lots of cost savings. But now if you're a TSA worker and you have not been paid for almost 3 months of the last 6 months, so almost half of the entire fiscal year 2026, you have been paid late. You are now a liability to your landlord and to your credit card lender. You probably want to be privatized because you can't trust Congress to pay the bills where you are being forced to show up. And so, yeah, when the average is 12% call out rate, the problem is that it is not equally distributed throughout the country. You know, I flew through DCA a couple days ago and that was fine. But then you have Atlanta, you have Baltimore, you have Houston, where it's over 40%. And that's where I know people personally who have waited 4 hours to get their security.
And we had the TSA administrator. She was on the Hill on Wednesday, I believe, of this week, and she talked about the hardships of what these TSA employees are going through. By the way, over 400 have resigned. We had over 1,100 quit in the first shutdown, and she talked about them selling plasma, living in their cars. I read one story of a person that gave a gasoline card to a TSA worker in line, and the TSA worker started to cry because they don't make enough money to sustain this, especially if you live in New York, Houston.
Yeah, it's horrible at the end of the day. They don't make a lot of money in general. You can privatize it, I think, at some level. That makes sense. But for these workers, for our government in this country to not pay these people it's atrocious in the end. And, ultimately, look, I work on Wall Street. Our clients always come first. When the consumer is out there and they're trying to travel and they're having a tough time, they're going back to their elected officials and saying, look, this doesn't work. So you got to get something done here. So I think we will clear this. I hope we will. But to see this at the airports is unacceptable.
No, it has been unacceptable because, not just spring break, but, imagine, oh, we're sorry, sir. We know that you're trying to get to your father's funeral, but we're going to shut down your smaller airport. That was another threat, Tiana, was they were going to shut down smaller airports completely. Yeah. It's untenable. And we hope that some kind of permanent fix is at least discussed after the government, the DHS, reopened.
It has to be, because commercial airline travel is 5% of the economy, and the number of Americans that fly increase every year. By definition, if you book a flight, it's high stakes. Either it's business and you can't miss, or it is visiting family or vacation you spent a lot of money on, right? Most people don't go on multiple vacations a year. If you're flying to Disneyland or something, you might have invested thousands of dollars in it. And if your flight gets canceled or you miss your flight, that's a huge cost. And the only thing, I think Congress has proven that they cannot be trusted with funding airline security. So we have to take that power away if they want to use it to play politics.
The New York Post opinion piece I mentioned, it's the National Taxpayers Union president. It's Pete Sepp. And, he makes a very, I think, fair argument. I think to your added point, privatization of the agency might be the next step in all of this. I don't know how that works with federal workers and the FAA and the training, but I think it's a interesting idea.
We need to get through this process right now before privatization, right? It's a mess.
Well,